G'day, legends. Welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast, the Origin series for 2024. Done and dusted. The New South Wales Blues getting it done. Incredible stuff. I am so proud of this football side and what they've done. They've had to overcome plenty. Obviously, game one came out. Player sent off after just 7 minutes, and the game was over at that point. And for a lot of us, and you know what, a little part of me thought the series was done as well. And Michael Maguire, he just never bowed out. And he's the first guy I want to talk about, Michael Maguire, because I think what he's done in this series has just been unbelievable. It honestly has been crazy. For a guy that, didn't play Origin himself, going up against another coach on the other side who's won 2 series on the trot, one of the greatest players of all time, the guy that all of his players would have had his poster up on their wall as kids, the Queensland superstar, and Madge in 6 months has pulled this team together more than I've seen a New South Wales side in a long time. I think, when we won our, the 2021 series or whatever it was, like incredible stuff, but we really blew Queensland away. We had a lot of things that went our way throughout that series despite playing in Queensland and whatnot. I just think this series, to have to win games in Melbourne and in Brisbane and in the fashion that we did without our first choice halfback, with a different halfback for game one, with Latrell coming in and out, Turbo not playing at all. It has just been unbelievable, and he's been forced to make some big decisions. He dropped his fullback and captain in game one, then was forced to recall him back into the side, then re-dropped him again. I mean, just incredible. Some of the decisions that Michael Maguire has had to make over the last 2 or 3 months have been unbelievable, and he has just backed himself in from woe to go, and he's got the rewards for it. So credit to Michael Maguire. There was a lot of questions asked about him throughout the series and whatnot that, I remember after game one when he brought his team into the sheds after and he spoke to them for about 30 minutes. And I know, my DMs were absolutely flooded, and I heard a lot of people giving him shit about it and questioning what he's doing. And that's what I've loved about what Matt has done. He's done it his way. Michael Maguire has done this his own fucking way. And I love to see it. It has just been so exciting to watch how it has all played out, and I'm so proud of those boys. I'm so proud of this state. Everyone got behind them. I heard at Suncorp Stadium tonight 2 or 3 New South Wales chants, and not in the last minute throughout the game, which is just unheard of. It's just crazy. Unbelievable stuff. We'll get into the game now, but obviously this episode, guys, brought to you by Neds, our official partners for season 2024. You can jump onto the Neds app, follow along with all my bets throughout this season. All the boys from About Even and whatnot, Tom, Eddie, all those lads, Sebo, fantastic stuff on Neds. They support us, so make sure you support them and jump on and check the website there. I don't know how many of these boys will back up, so obviously price is subject to change. Keep an eye on them over the weekend. Let's get into this game, though. I wanted to start with Madge because I think he just deserves all the credit in the world. He's made tough decisions. He's made hard decisions, and they've paid dividends for him. So full credit to Michael Maguire. I hope he has the party of a lifetime tonight, the absolute party of a lifetime. I'll tell you a little story about Michael Maguire. Back when he was coaching the South Sydney Rabbitohs in the 2014 Grand Final, I know there's a guy in South Sydney called the Phantom. What the Phantom did was drive around South Sydney and paint bunnies on driveways and out the front of houses of known South Sydney fans. And he got a call one night, the Phantom, about 3 nights before the Grand Final. Private number, didn't answer it. He was sort of worried it was the police that were onto him. Didn't answer it. After about the 7th call, he finally answered it. And it was the South Sydney coach, Michael Maguire, saying, "Mate, this is my address. Come put one out the front of my place." A man of the people, Michael Maguire, always has been. And I just think the way that he's handled himself throughout this Origin series has been tremendous. He's bid at the right moments. He's put a lot of pressure on Billy Slater, who just looked unfathomable for the last few years. And I said, earlier today on the podcast and everything that, I think he is a little bit rattled. I think they have sort of got him on the ropes a little bit. That said to me that Queensland were going to come in with a cracking performance, and they did. We'll get to that very soon. But, yeah, Michael Maguire, I'm just so impressed with what he's done, and he gives me a lot of hope. He gives me a lot of hope because that was a series one off grid. It wasn't just star power. It wasn't Cleary, Turbo, Latrell just dominating. That was grit. Every single person that he brought into this Origin arena responded for him and played incredibly well. And it's been a long time since we've had a series that I can genuinely look back and say every single player did their job. Every single player did what was asked of them. And you got to give full credit to Michael Maguire there. Unbelievable stuff. Let's get on to this game 3. And honestly, my notes are absolute shambles from this game. There was so much emotion that went into that. Couple of players just want to talk about. Obviously, Dylan Edwards, he got man of the match in this one and well-deserved. Not sure how many meters he ended up running for, but I would imagine it would have to be close to 300. Just going to get the stats up now, which, to be honest with you, I haven't even had a look at, guys. I have just been running off raw emotion here. So happy with how this has all played out. It is tremendous. Actually, you know what? But before we get to the New South Wales Blues and their performances, I fucking hate Queensland. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely fucking despise Queensland. But my God, I've got respect for them off the back of that performance. You don't get one of the greatest Origin games of all time without having two cracking teams, and Queensland were sensational tonight. The way that they just hang in that contest, the amount of ball we had in the first 50 minutes was unbelievable. They had a lot of penalties go against them early, which you don't normally see up there at Suncorp. So full credit to Queensland. I thought they were just so impressive. I really did. We had a lot of opportunities that we didn't take. And, the normal script is we have all the opportunities. Well, we don't get any. Queensland hang in. And then they go bang. And you know what? They did go bang. They had their huge opportunities. They had numerous opportunities to get back into this game. And we just held off. But full credit to Queensland. I think that a lot of Queenslanders would say that's probably one of their worst series ever. In 2021, obviously that was a shocker, yeah. But the reality is game 1, they didn't play well. Game 2, they didn't play well. Game 3, they hung in the contest. But they got out Queensland there. They really did. New South Wales just hung in, and then took their opportunities at the back end of the game, just suffocated them out of it. I want to give full respect to Queensland. That is a tremendous squad that's going to do some tremendous things over the next few years. But tonight belongs to the New South Wales Blues and that playing group. Full credit to Queensland. They had some incredible performances in there. Tommy Dearden was sensational. A few other guys. But let's get on to New South Wales. But respect to Queensland. This is the greatest contest in sport, and there's a reason for that because it takes two fantastic competitors to build something like State of Origin. We came out on top tonight, which was sensational. I love it, but full credit to Queensland. Okay, let's get into it. Dylan Edwards, what a performance. He was absolutely everywhere. Honestly, watching Dylan Edwards on the lounge makes me tired. I can't even fathom how fit this guy must be. 242 run meters off 27 runs, 56 post contact. He had 7 tackle breaks. Dylan Edwards, very, very impressive. He was everywhere. What a game from Dylan Edwards. Brian To'o, 154 run meters. Bradman Best. What a game from Bradman Best. Look, he broke the game open a few times in the early parts, came up with errors off the back of them, but he was on all night. He had that huge tackle on DCE to knock the ball loose as well. That was a massive play. He forced a drop out at one point with a brilliant kick that he just did off the top of his head. I don't know if Bradman Best will be a first-choice guy next year if we are fully fit. But my God, he has just taken every opportunity he's been given. He's come in twice and he has been tremendous. So full credit to Bradman Best. Watching him just take Queensland on, his face covered in blood, his lip pretty much hanging off the back of his shoe. He was just incredible, Bradman Best. And what a moment for him. The first try scorer. We had him on the About Even shows. That's a good little chicken dinner for us there. Incredible stuff from Bradman Best. I'm just so impressed with what this guy has done. It's been amazing. Stephen Crichton, some huge defensive efforts throughout this game. Hamiso might have got the better on him slightly, once or twice, but the way that he shut him down, the way that Stephen Crichton is elevating himself in this game is just unbelievable. Mate, Zach Lomax, 164 run meters. What has he got? 5 tackle breaks. Just some of the plays that Zach Lomax came up with. And honestly, throughout this series, some of the tries that he scored in the air have just been unbelievable. Some of the, just off the dome, these are the plays I remember from Lomax tonight. There was obviously the play off the short dropout. We went short. He leapt above. He got the ball there. Huge play. Huge turn of momentum. We then had the play where they kicked to him. He missed it. They made a half break. They get out. Mitch Moses makes a cracking tackle. Zach Lomax waits for Reece Walsh to get up, tackles him, buries him over the sideline. Huge momentum swing. And then when we finally do score our try, they kick off. The set after points in Origin is so crucial. It decides games, how good your set after points are. And of course, on first tackle, I think it was, Zach Lomax comes up with a penalty. We kick for touch. We get down there. Mitch Moses scores off that next play. This motherfucker, 2 goals from the sideline in this game. The penalty kick from the sideline to even it up in his first Origin series. Zach Lomax, Angus Crichton got the Wally Lewis medal and he deserves it. I think he has been the best over the entire time. But I'll tell you what, Zach Lomax, Mitch Moses, it's a tight race for second place. I sat down with Kempy, Dorr, Matty the Waterboy before game one. We picked our sides. I was the only one that had Zach Lomax in there. I had faith in him. I've got him in my Supercoach draft side. I've been watching him extremely closely this year. And the big thing for me is just the intent Zach Lomax plays with. And honestly, if you would have said to me 12 months ago, I would be happy having Zach Lomax in my team, I would have laughed at you. I truly would have. And that is on me. That is 100% on me. I remember talking to Jamie Soward one day. This is probably 18 months ago. And I sort of said to him, mate, what's the go with Zach Lomax? He said, mate, he's a great bloke. He is so talented. He's just got to mature and put it all together. Jamie said to me that he obviously played a lot of footy with Mark Gazdier, one of the greatest centres we've ever seen. He said, mate, the stuff that Lomax does day in, day out, if you take out all context, you just watch him at training, you would think Lomax was who Mark Gazdier is. And we're starting to finally see it now. He's putting it all together. The biggest concern, and when I said that I picked him when we were sitting around the round table, the big concern from the boys was he's going to throw a shit offload. He's going to cost us. I genuinely cannot remember a moment in this series where Zach Lomax put a foot wrong. He has been tremendous throughout the whole thing. I think he's been one of our best players, and I think he's locked himself in as an Origin player moving forward. Honestly, I'm just blown away by how well Zach Lomax has gone. Once again, if you would have said to me 18 months ago I'd be sitting here talking about Zach Lomax like this, I would have laughed at you. Let's get into the New South Wales halves. Now, Jerome Luai. Mate, this bloke is just a dog, and he just goes after every bone. And I've been saying it for a long time, and people always get up me and fucking lose their mind over it. The bloke's a winner. When are you going to get it? The bloke is a winner. You might not like him, and fair enough, but the bloke is a winner. He has just won consistently in everything he's competed in. I mean, he is Toyota Cup, New South Wales Cup, came into first grade, lost to grand final. You know what always sticks with me with this guy? The number one thing that sticks with me. You know, everyone calls him arrogant. He's a dog. Everyone calls him every name under the sun. He lost the 2020 grand final. They stuck a mic in his mouth and he said, this sucks. This is the worst feeling. We're going to bottle this up and we're going to come back bigger and better. He's won 3 grand finals in a row since. And I'll give you the hot tip. I reckon he wins a 4th in a few months' time, because this is going to be the best thing for Nathan Cleary. What happened tonight, this is going to light a fire under him. But Jerome Luai, he went and did what he did for Samoa, playing halfback. He signed that big deal for the West Tigers. Very keen to see how that all plays out. I'll tell you what, the West Tigers have got themselves a winner. You know, he was in the original Origin series that he won. This series, 2 weeks out from State of Origin. Honestly, I reckon 10 to 15% of people had Jerome Luai on their side, and everyone will say, "Oh, I did." You didn't. No one had him in there. A few people that did, that I saw post teams and talk about teams, they were getting smashed online. I didn't have him in my side. I would have gone Cody Walker, Matt Burton all before him. And just before Origin, he just flips the switch 2 weeks before and hits some incredible form and carries it throughout the series. He is an absolute goer, Jerome Luai. He's the man that broke this game open. That big dummy had Jeremiah. He was on the outside of Nanai's shoulder and just went, yep, I've got you here. And when he got into space, this is... it's such a good play by Jerome Luai. Gets into space. Most guys there, they're going 100 miles an hour. He's got the awareness to know, okay, I can hear Brady Best coming. I can hear the footsteps. He's a little bit behind me. I've got to slow this down a little bit. He slows up. The other thing about slowing up is that obviously lets Bradman Best catch up to him, but it means that he forces Reece Walsh to make a decision. He forces Reece Walsh to come in on him, gets the pass. A great catch by Bradman Best as well. And I love this moment here. Bradman Best, one-on-one in that moment, catching the ball over his head. Guess who's trying to tackle him? One of the best Origin players of the modern era, Dane Gagai. Bradman Best gets rid of him, crashes over. What a moment for Bradman Best. Incredible stuff. But Jerome Luai, a huge play in that moment. He picked out DCE very early in that game and he went at him. I said all series at the start of the series, the number one thing for me is we give Queensland too much respect too often. Jerome Luai went up there and went, fuck you. I'm coming into your house. I'm kicking the door in and I'm going to be a pain in your ass. And he certainly was. Such an impressive performance from Jerome. A great series. And I'm sorry, but he has to be the 5'8" next year. He has to be there game one. If he is fit and available, I think based off what he did in this series, I think he has to have first dibs on that jersey next year. And I'll tell you who else has to have first dibs on a jersey. Mitchy Moses. Wasn't there in game one. Nico Hines is in there. Tough circumstances. We get a player sent off. Brutal. Doesn't come up with the right plays at the right moment, in my opinion. Said before game 2, we need to bring in a genuine halfback. A lot of people pushed back on it. Mitch Moses, not a winner, blah, blah, blah. Mate, in the Origin arena, I've always felt comfortable with Mitch Moses. From the moment he got picked, and I was critical of Moses in the early parts of his career, from the moment he got picked for New South Wales, he has looked comfortable. He has never looked uncomfortable for New South Wales, in my opinion. Came in game 2, one of the best performances we've ever seen, in my opinion. The best halfback performance from a New South Wales player since Andrew Johns. I stand by it. At the time I said it, I went, I wonder how that'll age. It's been 3 weeks. I stand by it. I've watched the 05 Joey game. I went back and watched Cleary's game. I've watched Moses' game a few times. Yeah, best performance since Joey. Comes into this game, does his job throughout the game. His long kicking game was very important. Come up with a couple of big plays during the game. Made a big tackle on Reece Walsh, I think it was, coming out of his own end. But then the moment came. Zach Lomax gets the penalty. They kick for touch, set after points. This is where the best halfbacks do their best work. This is where Andrew Johns would go, put the ball in my hands. I want the ball in my hands. He gets up the other end, comes off the left foot, leaves him for dead, beats the fullback. That is the shining moment of Moses' career, and he deserves it so much. And I'll tell you what, that number 7 jersey next year, what a crazy turn of events. That is his next year. You can tattoo Moses on the back of that 7 jersey because it has to be his for game 1. For a long time, I thought, okay, if Moses wins this game, it'll be him next year. You have to play Cleary at 6. Honestly, Nath Cleary, in my opinion, is the best player in the world, and he is going to dominate Origin when he gets back in there. But next year, I think you have to start with Moses and Luai off the back of that. And once again, you Penrith Panthers fans, I reckon this is the best thing that could possibly happen to you because Nathan Cleary, he'll be stoked for the Blues. He'll be celebrating the lounge room, but there'll also be part of him that'll go, hey, I just lost my jersey. I just lost my jersey. He is going to absolutely explode at the back end of this season for the Penrith Panthers. You can question Nath about Origin, all that sort of shit, whatever you want to say. He is a competitive little bastard, and he is going to come out and absolutely rip and tear. Mate, if I was a betting agency, if I was Neds, I'd be shortening the Penrith Panthers off the back of tonight. They're going to take so much away from that, and Nath, he's got something to prove now, and that is a dangerous, dangerous prospect. Mitch Moses, though, he is our halfback. He's our halfback for game 1 next year. He is our halfback until he falls, in my opinion, or if he is injured. If he is fit, available, I don't care what Parramatta's doing. I do not care. I think it's got to be Mitch Moses. Coming from a team that is struggling, that is battling, even, when he got picked, people said, not doing it for Parramatta. I don't care. Origin's different. You need a certain sort of mentality. You need an ego to survive in Origin, and Mitch Moses has got that. I said it before game 2, we always associate ego as a negative thing. Guys like Mitch Moses, if you're going to survive as a halfback, you need to have an ego, and he's certainly got it, and he backs himself in every single moment. He's been to hell and back, Mitch Moses, as far as criticism from people, and that was just an amazing performance. What a series for Mitch Moses. 2 games, man of the match in the second, probably top 3 or 4 in that game. Could have quite easily got the Wally Lewis medal despite not playing in game 1 in Sydney, which is unbelievable for a New South Wales halfback. It's not in the areas of Joey, but coming in game 2, getting it done, going to Brisbane in game 3, getting it done. It's Joey-esque in that sort of way. Once again, the performances aren't in line with Joey's. I'll tell you what, pretty damn impressive performance from Mitch Moses. So full credit to him. He deserves this, Mitch Moses, and I am glad he's a New South Welshman. I'll tell you what, it was a couple of years ago on a dead rubber where we gave him an opportunity. A lot of people criticised it and whatnot. And I mean, it's turned out to pay dividends because that experience has been huge for him. So a little bit of credit goes to Brad Fittler for making that decision. A lot of people disagreed with it, but he had that experience, and it's just more experience under the belt for these big moments when they arrived, and it paid dividends. So shout out to Freddie on that one. Let's move into the forward pack. My God, honestly, throw a dart at this New South Wales forward pack and you'll hit a player that had a cracking game. What a performance by all these guys. We'll start with the captain, Jake Trbojevic. Only played the 23 minutes. If people are trying to nitpick, they will point out that he's only played minimal minutes. He's the captain. What's going on? I've said it all along. For me, the selection of Jake Trbojevic as our captain was a sign of where we're going and the attitude of this team. And they have played tough, gritty. They've hung in every single moment. Who personifies that? Jake Trbojevic. For me, I like him playing 25 minutes. Did I expect it? No, I didn't. But honestly, if we win, who gives a fuck? He is the leader of this side off the field. He has set the standard for this team. And I think in years to come, this is going to age really, really well, that we're going to look back at Jake Trbojevic and the role that he played in this series. Attitude reflects leadership. Shout out to one of the greatest movies of all time, Remember the Titans. And You can't just give no credit to the captain for the attitude that has been shown by this team and the guy that made that decision, Michael Maguire. People have criticised him the entire way through, and you know what? He stuck to his plan. He stuck to what he was doing. This guy is my leader. He personifies everything that we need in this system, everything we need to win this game of football, to win this series. He's backed him in and he's got the job done. So by all means, go and bag Madge, go and give him all the shit you want, but he picked the right captain for this moment, and the way that the New South Wales Blues played during this series, it reflected the attitude of Jake Trbojevic and what he brings to a football team. So credit to Jakey. Didn't have to play big minutes, didn't have to have a huge on-field, but his influence off-field and the change to the dynamic within this New South Wales Blues side, I think he needs to be commended for it. Love to see it. Payne Haas, 57 minutes in this game, 110 metres. We said pre-game he doesn't have to run for 300 metres like Clubland. He needs to play tough and he needs to play hard, and he certainly did that tonight, Payne Haas. I feel like he's come of age. 30 tackles, 0 missed, 100-odd metres. He just took them on all night, Payne Haas. And, you know, they're obviously going to try and shut him down. I thought they contained him reasonably well, but he just kept coming. For me, this is the series that Payne Haas has come of age. I think he'll have better series in the future, to be completely honest with you. I think he's got more in him. But this is the series that I think we're going to look back and go, okay, that was the turning point for Payne Haas. And if you're a Broncos fan, you should be absolutely stoked with that. The future on this guy is just massive. Reece Robson. Honestly, I can't believe how well he's gone, Reece Robson. He's played tough. He was absolutely gassed at the back end of that game. Gave away a few penalties. I think he came up with an error late as well because he got through so much work. Didn't have to run too much. How many tackles did he get through? 31 tackles. Christ, it felt like he made more tackles than that. But Reece Robson, They had a pretty simple game plan here. I think it was run the side through Mitch Moses, get clean ball to the halves. He just made the right decisions. And I honestly, I'm trying to think to a single pass that he threw throughout this series. I went, that was poor from Reece Robson. He's just been tremendous, and he deserves all the credit in the world for Reece Robson. He'll put his head where most wouldn't put their foot. And you need those guys in your footy side. And as a 9, you need that as well. So shout out to Reece Robson. Tremendous stuff. Second rowers, these guys for me, these two, they personify what this New South Wales victory is all about. We'll start with Liam Martin. I've been listening to, respectfully, so many idiots for years. He shouldn't be in the Origin team. He ran for 30 metres. He made 12 tackles, blah, 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 blah. If you can't see it with this guy, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And I've been saying that for a long time now, and people have bagged me for it, but honestly, this guy is an absolute dog. He is what Origin is about. I don't give a fuck about his stats. I don't give a fuck about his super coach. This guy is an absolute animal, and there is a reason why every coach that's in there, he is one of the first guys picked, and he will remain to be one of the first guys picked. I just love everything about this guy. He's an absolute dog, and once again, if you still can't see it, mate, choose a different sport because you're missing out. Unbelievable from Liam Martin. Fantastic series. Angus Crichton, Wally Lewis medal winner. Look, from where Angus Crichton has come from, this is unbelievable. I just want you to keep in mind, Angus Crichton is the Wally Lewis medal winner right now, yeah? The best player of this series. He's a second rower that didn't score a try in this Origin series. So he has just been so dominant throughout the whole thing that he's got it without scoring a try, which I would imagine for a second rower is just about unheard of. Crazy stuff. He went after DCE. He took it to Queensland all series. I thought he was fantastic in the game where we were down a player as well. He was massive in Melbourne. He had a HIA early in that game. He came back with the vengeance, and he grabbed him by the collar and just said, fuck you. He did the same thing to Ruben Cotter in game 2. He is a tremendous player, Angus Crichton. I was in Las Vegas at the start of the year. Obviously, the Roosters were playing over there. I caught up with Angus at their captain's run, spent a few minutes with him. And keep in mind at that point, and this is only 18 weeks ago, Angus Crichton was left out of the Roosters round 1 side. He ran out for reserve grade New South Wales Cup that weekend with Connor Watson. So 2 guys in this team that over in Vegas talked to them both, were absolutely devastated, were shocked that they missed. They took it on the chin. Both said, we just got to get better. Got to go back to reserve grade, rip in, earn our spot back. And now here they both are. Origin champions of 2024 and a Wally Lewis medal for Angus Crichton. I'm not going to get into all the stuff that happened last year. I spoke to Angus very briefly at sort of the back end of all that. And he was a guy that was hurting. He was a guy that has made a huge recovery from something that I think a lot of people probably wouldn't have come back from, and something that I think a lot of people, unless you've experienced or you've been around people that have experienced stuff like Angus Crichton went through, I just don't think you can ever understand it. And if you don't understand it, it's an absolute privilege that you haven't had to go through something like that. But where Angus Crichton has come from to build himself back up, to miss the Roosters NRL side in round 1, to win a Wally Lewis medal 18 weeks later. He's the best second rower in rugby league right now, and it isn't even close. To think the Roosters were almost going to sign Dave Fafita a few months ago over this guy. He's just gone, oh yeah, watch this. Dave Fafita doesn't get picked for Origin. Angus Crichton wins the Wally Lewis medal. Huge alpha play by Angus Crichton. Just incredible stuff. A very deserving award winner there. Cam Murray. He's a future New South Wales captain. I absolutely love this guy. He is just tough as nails. The spots that he gets his body in when he takes his hit-ups, the defensive work he gets through. He got sin bin tonight. Let's talk about that very quickly. I will say this. I think Queensland can feel a little bit hard done by in that moment. I don't know what the rule is meant to be, but how on earth you can sin bin a player that's not on the field, and then seemingly the Blues just got to choose who they wanted to take off. Maybe they had to take off whoever came on for him, but I don't think Mitch Barnett came on for Cam Murray. I think he came on a little bit earlier for Jake Trbojevic. Actually, he came on for Angus Crichton. Sorry, I take that back. He didn't come on for Cam Murray, so you would have to assume the New South Wales Blues got to pick. I don't know the rule, and maybe the ref has nailed it and done the exact right thing. I haven't seen that sort of situation before, but I find it very hard to believe that a bench player can be involved in something like that and they get sin bin. And once again, I will happily wear it if I am wrong, but I think the Queenslanders were a little bit hard done by then. But I'll tell you what, those scenes, that is Origin at its absolute best. And I was hoping no players would get sent from the field. If you're going to do it, you got to send one from each. So full credit to the referee for doing that. He sent off a player from our bench, so Mitch Barnett went off. Cam Murray. And you know what? I personally, if there's a stink that's happening over the sideline, I want my next New South Wales captain to be there. I'm okay if you get binned. I want him to be there. And the way that Cam Murray sprinted to that stink to make sure he was there to help his mate, that's what it's all about. That is what it's all about, and I absolutely love that. Should he got sent off? Maybe because he's off the field and he gets involved. I know Olakau'atu was sent to the sheds, which I think is fair play if you're going to get him involved like that. But honestly, Origin's a different beast. It is just a different breed, and these things happen. Mate, it filled my cup to see Cam Murray sprinting up the sideline when he's not even on the field to be there for his mates. Unbelievable stuff. And he is a future leader of this state, and he's going to be one of the great captains. Incredible performance from Cam Murray. We obviously missed him in game 1. Came back game 2, was huge in this game as well. Let's have a look at the bench. Isaiah Yeo came on, played it as his middle forward, did really well, did his job. I think he's had to play a very selfless role throughout this Origin series, Isaiah Yeo, and I think he's done it very, very well. Mitch Barnett, mate, like a duck to water. And once again, Madge, he sat there before game 3. Olakau'atu's played the first 2 games, hasn't done anything wrong, just hasn't been the game for him. But he knows, looking at his side, geez, it would probably be better if we had a guy that was a little bit more experienced and could play as a middle and an edge to cover certain spots. He made the tough decisions. Sucks for Olakau'atu. He did not deserve to get dropped. But I'll tell you what, it was the right call. Mitch Barnett was enormous in this game, and I love that when the opportunity came, when Angus Crichton got the HIA early, Madge didn't hesitate with his debutant. He said, get out there, go get a touch, go get involved. And Mitch Barnett, he just hit the ground running. I don't think this shocks anyone that Mitch Barnett's made for Origin. We nominated him as a smoky at the end of round 6, which we're very happy with that call. It was great to see him get in. And honestly, we're now looking at this side going, okay, how do we fit all these guys in next year? When everyone's fully fit and available, when your Latrells, your Turbos, your Clearys are all fit and available, how do we possibly fit all these guys in? It's a tremendous problem to have. It is, we're in a very good spot at the moment. We've been in a good spot before and it's fallen into a heap, so I'm very aware of that. But right now, the New South Wales Blues and their depth, it is in a very good spot because we can now also call on guys that we know can handle the Origin arena. Olakau'atu, Hudson Young, Cam McInnes. There's a heap of guys there that have been dropped throughout this series that probably haven't deserved to be dropped, but guys have come back from injury. Better players have become available in certain positions, and I'm just so happy with the position we find ourselves in. And Mitch Barnett, it is a great reward tonight for the sacrifice he made a few weeks ago. All jokes aside, missing the birth of a child to be 18th man for the New South Wales Blues. Once again, that's the attitude in this squad. And we can laugh about it. We can joke about it. I know the Hello Sport boys had a laugh at it and whatnot, but in all seriousness, it just personifies what this Blues side is all about and why we won this series. On the bench as well, Spencer Leniu. Holy hell. Now, when we sat down to pick our teams, I was the only one that had Zach Lomax, and I've mentioned that. Matty the Waterboy was the only one that had Spencer Leniu, and personally, I wouldn't have picked him. An egg all over my face. I was completely wrong. Without him, I'm not sure if we win this series. I think he's been a big part of the attitude shift. He obviously had the incident in Las Vegas, which I do not support in any way, shape, or form. But the way that he has bounced back from that, honestly, every hit up, I think Joey described it tonight like he's getting shot out of a cannon. And that was every single hit up throughout this entire series. And gone are the days where you pick guys on the bench because they're not as good or they're not up to standard. You pick guys on the bench because they can have an impact on the games. And the game is broken into 20-minute increments, and it's whoever can win those increments. And, mate, Spencer Leniu, he is the best interchange player in rugby league. He's won 3 premierships in a row. He'll be looking to win his 4th in a row with the Sydney Roosters this year. Incredible stuff for him to come into this arena. Remember, he only played 2 games before that, yeah? Another huge call by Michael Maguire. Plenty of people questioned it. Including myself, we were wrong. Madge was right. He has absolutely nailed this, and he has plucked an Origin player out of absolutely nowhere. Incredible stuff, and full credit to Spencer Leniu. Once again, I do not know if we win this Origin series without him. I've said it a few times. I feel like we give Queensland too much respect. Spencer Leniu gives them absolutely zero, and I love what he brings. He's going to lose us games in the future. I guarantee you. He's going to have moments where he's going to get a hot head and he's going to lose games, but he's going to have more moments like this where he stands and delivers, and he's the guy to kick the fucking door in and win a game for us. I got so much respect for his performances in this series, and once again, I wouldn't have picked him, and I was completely wrong. He's just about one of the first picked next year. Incredible stuff. The hot pirate, Connor Watson, we already sort of mentioned him. Didn't have to play a huge role in this game. I know a lot of people criticise this decision as well over Matt Burton, and to be honest with you, I had my moments where I questioned it. I had a conversation with Connor Watson, obviously a guy that I talk to here and there. And I remember talking to him at the Hello Sport party at the end of last year, and he was standing next to me, and he goes, check this out. And he lifted up his leg, and I had a look at his legs, and honestly, one leg was a different size to the other because of the injury. He's had a long way to come back. He genuinely, that was in December, he didn't know what position he was going to play in the Roosters side in 2024. He didn't know what his role was going to be. I was then over there in Las Vegas just before I got on the plane. The team got announced. He wasn't in the side, caught up with him during the week and said the same thing as Angus. I'm shocked. I'm disappointed. I just got to go to work. I got to go and play New South Wales Cup. I got to show up to Henson Oval this week. I got to work my dick off, and he certainly did. A few 80-minute stints in reserve grade, playing lock. I watched a few of them. He was enormous. Forced his way back into this side. Honestly, there's an argument he's the best hooker at the Roosters now. He used to be a 5'8" lock. Maybe a hooker, just a great utility, comes into this side. If he was available in game 1, I believe he would have got selected. He wasn't available, obviously, through injury. And then game 2, Madge makes the decision to change a side that did incredibly well and bring Connor Watson in for his debut. And what a selection. What a selection. Once again, didn't have to do a stack, but I'll tell you what, like I'm not best mates with Connor or anything, but I've just seen him and how infectious he is when he's in a room, and he's just got something special about him, Connor, and he would have brought a lot to this side off the field. I'm very, very confident in saying that, and he came in and played his role in this game. Once again, job wasn't huge, but an important guy. The New South Wales Blues, a famous, famous victory, winning the 2024 Origin Series. I am just over the moon, to be completely honest with you. Going up to Suncorp, I think it is the most daunting task in rugby league. Going up to Suncorp in a decider, it is just the most daunting task you can possibly imagine. And for the New South Wales Blues to do this, honestly, it's dream come true stuff for me. It really is. I don't have an NRL team that I follow, as you guys know. We all joke about the Roosters and whatnot, but I don't have a team that I follow. This is my team, the New South Wales Blues, and I was absolutely ecstatic at full time there. And to see them not only win, but the way they won, that's what really stands out to me. Honestly, it was a Queensland performance. Based on what I've known for the last 15 odd years, it was a Queensland performance. And there was just a couple of moments in that game. There was even a moment where Queensland kicked. They went down the right edge. They kicked it, bounced over the head of someone. And then there was a moment where it could have either gone to, I think it was Reece Robson, or I'm not sure who it was, maybe Val Holmes, and it could have bounced either way. And, me and Matty the Waterboy, we always joke all the time about Queensland bounces. It just always seems to go to them. And in that moment, it could have gone that way or that way to a New South Welshman or a Queenslander, and it bounced straight to us. And you don't normally get that at Suncorp. You don't normally get that moment. I don't know. That moment to me just felt like a bit of a turning of the tide. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, obviously, but an incredible performance by the New South Wales Blues. And yeah, you make your bed, you sleep in it, and the New South Wales Blues, they made a fucking tough bed, and now they can sleep well in it. It is great to see. So shout out to the New South Wales Blues and all the players, all the staff, all the coaching staff, everyone that's been involved in this series. It has been tremendous, even down to the Suolitis of the world, who obviously only played a small role. But, you know, he was 20th man tonight. Matt Burton, 18th man across the entire series. Would have been a really tough pill to swallow for a guy like Matty Burton, but he's played his role as well. Everyone had to play a role in this, and everyone played their role perfectly. And once again, full credit to Michael Maguire. He pulled it all together. He pulled every single one of these guys together. He had them all going in the same direction. Everyone understood their role throughout the entire series. You knew in game one there was a little bit of a question mark. Whose team was it? And Matt just went, okay, it's Mitch Moses' team. He comes in there and this is his side. And you know what? Mitch came in there, walked in, kicked the door in of New South Wales camp day one of game two and said, hey, my team, listen to me, do what I say. And that's what a good halfback should do. I'll tell you what, that display by Mitch Moses throughout that series, if you're a young halfback out there, just go and watch how in control of it he is throughout the entire series. Just watch him, watch no one else. Just watch Mitch Moses in his absolute element. And going up to Suncorp tonight, he just looks so focused. So focused. Fantastic by the New South Wales Blues. Look, I've already given a lot of credit to Queensland for their performance tonight. I thought they were tough, they were gritty, they hang in this contest. You don't get a game like that without two champion teams. I think it is worth noting Queensland obviously missing a lot of players. You know, I'm not going to remember them all off the top of the head, but, you know, Jai Arrow's carried an injury, so he really wasn't available. Tino ruled out in the preseason. Tom Gilbert ruled out. The money man, Cam Munster out. Kalen Ponga wasn't available for the first part of the series. There's probably more that I'm forgetting that I'm not thinking of off the top of the dome, but they were missing a lot of players, as were we, Latrell, Turbo, Cleary. But it is worth noting that the Queensland boys, they have lost a lot of players coming into this series and during this series as well. Jermaine Hopgood got injured as well. That was a huge loss for this side. But they've managed to unearth a few more guys and given more guys experience. And I think this will be an Origin series we look back on because, like, for the next 5 years, these squads, like, you could pick a squad of 30 for each of these teams and you know who's going to play from those squads because so many guys have come in and shown, hey, I can do a job for you. I can do a job when I'm called on. Especially the Blues now. They've got great depth of a lot of guys. A lot of guys that have been some of our best this series who might not be there next series, just depending on how it's all going. And a lot of champion players are going to be trying to get back into this side. It's just, yeah, it's been an incredible Origin series. It's been unbelievable to consider where it started with that send-off and how it felt like the series was potentially over before it started, to watch how it's all played out. Maybe it's different for Queenslanders, and I'm sure it probably is, but for me, I've just enjoyed this Origin series so much. And once again, it takes two to tango. It takes a great Queensland team to put on a performance like that to make this game as good as it was. A couple of Queenslanders I want to give a shout out to. Tommy Dearden, mate, some of his defensive efforts are just off this planet, honestly. Some of the cleanup work he did, some of the big tackle on Liam Martin, some of the, you know, trap and scraps that he came up with. I thought he was enormous tonight, Tommy Dearden. And honestly, I reckon in the first half he was worth 12 points defensively. He was fantastic. Came with some massive plays. Came with the play on Stephen Crichton to knock the ball loose as well there. Just some enormous plays from Tommy Dearden. He was tremendous. I thought the middles were great as well for Queensland. They put up a fantastic fight. KP came on and looked good, but, you know, came up with a few flashy plays but didn't really blow it away. I think DCE, honestly, I think he was a little bit rattled tonight. I haven't seen that from DCE in quite some time. I think Jerome Luai got in his head a little bit. I genuinely think he do, but I think DCE deserves a lot of credit. He had the Wally Lewis medalist running at him all night, terrorising him, and I'll tell you what, he didn't hide away, DCE. For a guy that I had a lot of question marks about his defensive attitude and his defensive efforts over the last few years, fuck me, earned my respect tonight, DCE. He played tough, he played gritty, and he just showed a jersey every single time. It was a real captain's knock from DCE defensively. Both the halves, they were unbelievable. Paddy Carrigan, I thought he was very good in this game. Ruben Cotter obviously got through a lot of work. I'm not looking at stats or anything. I'm just eyeballing what I saw from Queensland. Thought Mo Fodawaker was good in his minutes as well. But yeah, look, New South Wales, they were just too good in this one. They were just simply too good, and that's the bottom line. We were better than Queensland. We wanted it more. I think that was really evident. We wanted it more in this game. And, you know, I don't get to say that too often, and Queenslanders might disagree with that and whatever. I don't give a fuck. We wanted it more in this series. We don't see it all that much. Hopefully we start to see it more now. But that was a New South Wales performance to be so proud of. down 1-0. Player sent off in game 1. No more games in Sydney. Melbourne, Brisbane for a decider. Missing a couple of stars. Latrell Mitchell, who had felt like he was the momentum shift in game 2, or one of the big momentum shifts. We lose him. Bradman Best comes in. Absolutely nails it. Once again, Michael Maguire, hey, I need you to play for New South Wales. Come out and play a 9 out of 10. Everyone he's picked has delivered. Incredible stuff. That'll do us, guys. It's pretty early in the morning now, but I am just so happy. I am over the moon. I'm so proud of the New South Wales Blues. We're going to enjoy this one. We're going to lap it up. We're going to be back next year, bigger and better. I hope this is a turning of the tide in the Origin arena because, I don't know, I feel a shift in the New South Wales Blues. I feel a shift in our attitude, which I feel a shift in our desire, which I think is something we've been waiting a long time for. Congratulations, New South Wales Blues and Michael Maguire. They deserve it. I hope they enjoy the celebrations. Hopefully no silly buggers. I'm not sure how many guys are going to back up this weekend in the NRL off the back of that. That was an exhausting game, and I'll tell you what, those New South Wales Blues boys, they could be hungover until game 1 next year celebrating that, and they deserve to. Incredible stuff. Another fantastic Origin series in the books. The New South Wales Blues 2024 Origin winners. You absolutely love to see it. Tonight's episode, guys, our Origin review of Game 3 to the side, are brought to you by Neds. You can hit the link that is down below in the description. Go and check out my Rugby League Guru profile on there. Follow along with all my bets across the weekend. Obviously, guys, price is subject to change. It is a buy round. There's guys coming off Origin and whatnot. Prices are subject to change, so keep an eye on all the moving prices and whatnot with guys being in and out. Gamble responsibly as always, and thank you to Neds for bringing tonight's episode to you guys. Up the Blues.